Welcome, everybody, to another episode of our podcast. Sober Immigration, we try to answer all your Canada related immigration queries, questions, doubts, frequently asked questions that we get via all our social media platforms. Um, Today, we have experiences. There are a lot of experiences, a lot of people who are here in Canada. They have different experiences that they've gone through while they're in Canada, while their applications are being processed. We have Pranika with us today, who is a very young and vibrant girl. She's very young. She's here on a study visa. I think she's about to graduate in a while. So let's ask her more about her experiences before coming to Canada, while coming to Canada. Right now, she's been here for 2 years. Let's see what she has to say. Pranika, welcome to our podcast.
Thank you so
And
much.
we're glad to have you here. Where do you want to start from? What are your experiences? Do you want to start from the starting? Do you want to tell us right now that you're in Canada, what you've been experiencing?
When we start with experiences, I feel as if it's like very different from everybody. It really depends on person to person, especially depending on whether or not you have any family member here. Because जब हम यहाँ पे initially आते हैं, तो सबसे पहला concern कि for anybody is कि अरे यार वहाँ पर हम कैसे करेंगे. That's like a new place, right? You don't know anybody there. You don't know a single soul, and you're all stepping into a country where you don't know anything, right? तो अगर तो आपका कोई family member है, be it a cousin, be it a blood relation, or even a friend, that gives you upper hand in comparison to people who don't have anybody here,
Right.
right? And I feel as if, considering now that immigration is like everybody's immigrating now, Canada के अंदर population काफ़ी बढ़ चुकी है, especially of Indians or like let's say brown people. So people have connections now, but a lot of people don't. Like ठीक है बहुत लोगों के हैं but like बहुत लोगों के नहीं भी हैं, right? So for me personally, I figured my shit out myself. So when I say that, जब मैं यहाँ पे आई थी, so I had like a friend, my mom's friend की जो daughter थी, उनके पास मैं एक रात रुकी थी. I'd never seen her and I really appreciate she even let me stay at her place because I'd never seen her, right? तो किसी unknown के घर पे भी रहना बहुत ऐसा scary लगता है, especially when you are like 18, when you just turned 18. You're still a teenager, you're still trying to figure things out in your life, and you still don't know who you are, and you still are becoming a person. तो इस क्रूशियल स्टेज पे जब तुम्हारी जो लाइफ चॉइसेस होती हैं वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती हैं, एंड स्टेपिंग आउट ऑफ योर कंफर्ट जोन, मीनिंग लाइक पेरेंट्स से दूर आना, इज़ क्रेजी हार्ड.
Yeah. Um, Tell me more about it because I think you've completed your high school
Yeah.
and then you decided to come here. What made you decide to come here? Why did you not pursue your higher education in India?
Well, it depends. For me personally, my mom used to tell me to stay in India. Honestly, वो बोलते थे कि यहाँ इंडिया में रह के कुछ कर लो, because she's a nurse, right? And she works for the government. So she was like, do something for the government because that is where you get most respect, even if like you don't get a lot of money there comparing to the amount of money that we make here. But still जो एक respect होती है, एक sense of respect होती है जो कि government officials को मिलती है या police officers को मिलती है,
True.
तो वो चीज़ को मेरे मामा बहुत चेज़ करते थे. But for me it was like I always lived that how do I say, that teenage dream thingy where I'm like, oh, I want to live like New York vibes, where I'm like living in my own apartment. I'm, you know, New York vibes, Paris vibes, जैसे भी कह लो, वो जो तुम्हारी teenage fantasy होती है, right? So honestly Canada was like a fantasy that was sold to me. But जब यहाँ पे आए तब पता लगता है कि रियलिटी चेक एक्चुअली है क्या. लाइक दूर दूर से बहुत कुछ सुंदर लगता है कि ठीक है यार लाइफ चिल है, पेरेंट्स कुछ नहीं बोलेंगे, ठीक है अपना आओ चिल करो, खाओ पियो कमाओ, मर्जी से घर आओ, मर्जी से मत आओ, क्या फ़र्क पड़ता है. बट व्हेन यू एक्चुअली कम हियर, व्हेन यू एक्चुअली स्टार्ट अडल्टिंग फॉर रियल, you realize कि life is not as easy or as protected as you think it
As you
was.
think, right.
क्योंकि पेरेंट्स ने तुमको एक प्लेटर पे सब कुछ दिया है लाके, और एकदम से जब तुम्हें सब कुछ खुद करना पड़ता है, you make a lot of mistakes in life, but at the end of the day that is what life is, right? Making mistakes and learning from them. But personally for me it was because I always wanted to not live with my parents, in the sense not because I had a bad relations with them, but because I wanted to live that New York vibes dream. I couldn't go to the US, so this was like the easiest place that a lot of people were like trending and a lot of people were coming to. So yeah.
What course are you in, and was it easy for you to come here and then start education, or what was your transition to educational life from India to here?
Right. So when I did my high school in commerce, which was accounting and economics. So I was not really sure what I want to take. I still am not very sure about what I'm gonna do. But yeah, जब हम यहाँ पे आते हैं तो it is very scary to choose कि कौन सा कोर्स लें, because there are a lot of agents who are giving you different kinds of information, right? बहुत सारे agents बोल रहे हैं अरे ये कोर्स ले लो, ये कोर्स ले लो, because they're just trying to sell their seats, right? उनको सिर्फ अपना पैसा बनाना है, they don't care about your career. So when you know कि तुम्हारे पेरेंट्स ने इतना मनी स्पेंड करना है, तो तुम भी बहुत सारी चॉइसेस या बहुत सारे ऑप्शंस लेके साथ में चलते हो. बट मोर द ऑप्शंस, इट ऑल्सो मीन्स दैट मोर इज द डिलेमा, राइट? तो जितने ज़्यादा ऑप्शंस होते हैं उतना ज़्यादा hectic होता है. For me as well, I applied to a few colleges, which was Seneca, Centennial, Humber, and then Lambton. And I got selected in all four of those. But मेरी सबसे जल्दी application आई थी Centennial की, and I took that because I'd heard a lot about that college, and I felt as if it's like one of the really good colleges in Canada. So yes, I did take Centennial, and I took international business. And even when we take studies या डिप्लोमा हम लेते हैं, तो बहुत सारे लोगों को डाउट होता है कि यार 2 साल का लें या 3 साल का लें या 1 साल का लें. बिकॉज मेरे ही फ्रेंड सर्कल में there were people who took 1 year, and there were people who took 2 years, and there were people who took 3 years. So it actually really depends on a lot of factors. I initially took 3-year course, but then when I came here, I assumed, or I got to know कि this is a big of a commitment, because 3 years means 6 semesters, which also means I'm going to have to pay a little more. That means 8 to 10 grand a semester. It was crazy money. And so in second semester I decided to change it, transition from 3-year to a 2-year. अब बहुत सारे लोगों को ये डाउट भी होता है कि यार अगर हम स्टडी के बीच में स्टडी चेंज कर लेंगे तो कल को वर्क परमिट में दिक्कत हो जाएगी, या you know.
Did you reduce the duration of your course
Yes,
by
so
giving the crash semesters, like
no. So I completely changed my course code,
Okay.
which was international business, advanced diploma, 3 years, to international business, which was just international business, not an advanced diploma, right? So I transitioned the entire code. For me personally, I don't think it actually really matters. If you are still in the same branch, like अगर तुम फॉर एग्जाम्पल इंजीनियरिंग लेके आ रहे हो, ठीक है, और तुम सीधा ही बिजनेस में आ रहे हो, या तुम अपना कॉलेज एकदम से चेंज करो, एंड यू डोंट हैव अ लेजिटिमेट रीजन फॉर दैट, आई थिंक दैट कुड कॉज यू सम प्रॉब्लम्स. बट फॉर मी इट वॉज लाइक प्रीटी स्मूथ एंड ईजी. सो या.
After you came to Canada, you said you live with one of your mom's friend. After
Yeah.
that, how did you find your
Right.
house?
So
And
it's
I'm sure, because I've been through that. The house hunting part is a bit difficult here. ऐसे लगता है कि हाँ आप जाओगे, you will find a house, you will find a dream place to live in. But for student housing, it is a bit difficult because you've already spent so much on your course, and then again to spend so much on your housing, which जो आप rent हर महीने pay कर रहे हो. तो and then you don't want to commute so much.
yeah.
How was your house hunting experience?
Okay, so I'm gonna answer this in 2 parts, which means first off, like मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि कनाडा के अंदर my life has been made half easier. Like सबसे ज़्यादा मेरी life easier हुई किस बात पे? Because I am social and I made connections and I got to know people, right? I was upfront about it. I was outspoken about it. Same goes for the house hunt. So जब मेरी मम्मा के friend के घर पे मैं 1-2 दिन रुकी, I was like, I felt like a burden, right? Because I didn't want to stay at someone else's places who I haven't even seen in a while, ever actually, right? So I go online and I start searching up, and I'm like, oh God, what do I do? Because it was scary at first, right? But then since back home I had joined these, a lot of people can do that. So फेसबुक के ऊपर, इंस्टाग्राम के ऊपर, व्हाट्सएप के ऊपर, बहुत सारी जगह पे ऐसे ग्रुप्स हैं जहाँ पे लोग कनेक्ट करते हैं. इवन नाउ लाइक people feel like Facebook is outdated. It's not outdated.
It's not.
It is very
To
informative.
find your housing in Canada, Facebook, of course, the Facebook Marketplace is a good place.
Right.
And then I feel there are a lot of websites. But then I think if you're not here and if you're sitting back home, you need to be aware of the scams that go on, which is another completely different story, right?
Right. So not only in houses, a marketplace हर चीज़ में help करता है. So for me, I joined these groups where people were like, oh, I'm coming in January semester 2023, or I'm coming in this semester. So people used to make groups of that, and then you used to find roommates and stuff, even though you haven't seen them. So it was like, because of the unknown, it was a positive and a negative, because अगर आप unknown में हो तो 10 जने और भी unknown में हैं. So that fear also connected people, you know what I mean? So I found these people who are still my great friends, by the way. There was this guy, I will not take his name, but there was this guy who helped me find a place, and then he was my housemate, so he took a private room, I took a private room, and then we found another girl for me in my room. So, and honestly it was just a 2-day process. We were so constant, हम लोग Facebook पे phone जितने घर मिल रहे थे सबको phone लगा रहे थे. We were trying to make out which one's legitimate, which one's not, and then honestly, if you're active about it and you know you need to get it, you'll find it. I know a lot of people say कि नहीं यार ऐसा housing का problem है. I get it. Hey, I'm not denying it. But at the end of the day, you have something that's for you, right?
Yeah.
So you can find it. अगर तुम start ही ऐसे negativity से करोगे कि यार बहुत दिक्कत हो रही है या मिल नहीं रहा है, how are you gonna find it? You're not.
I totally agree with the what do you say, the positivity part,
Right.
because ऐसा नहीं है कि यहाँ पे जॉब्स नहीं है, ऐसा नहीं है कि कनाडा में हाउसिंग के इश्यूज हैं. इट्स जस्ट दैट यू हैव टू लुक एट द राइट प्लेस एट द राइट टाइम, एंड यू हैव टू बी प्रोएक्टिव अबाउट इट. वो आपकी प्रॉब्लम है, कोई और आके नहीं सॉल्व करने वाला. सो द मोर यू आर एक्टिव, द मोर यू आर सोशल अबाउट दीज प्रॉब्लम्स, द मोर यू डिस्कस, द मोर यू फाइंड आउट एंड सर्च इन टू द राइट प्लेसेस, राइट, you will definitely find something.
Exactly.
And even the same for the jobs, right? I think you're working.
Yeah, I'm working a few jobs.
So
I was
tell us
working
your
as-
experience.
Okay, so even for like I don't know, I might like not have a lot of people agree with me on this, but I feel as if when people say कि Canada में jobs खत्म हो गई हैं, that is not
That
true.
is not true. No, I totally agree with that. There are a lot of jobs.
Okay, let's just bifurcate that. Canada में labor jobs कम हो गई हैं. Why? Because everybody wants to get into it. हर बंदे को फैक्ट्री में काम करना है, हर बंदे को रेस्टोरेंट में काम करना है, या हर बंदा एक स्पेसिफिक फील्ड में जाने की कोशिश कर रहा है. तो वहाँ पर तो ऑब्वियसली जॉब्स खत्म होंगी ना, बिकॉज everybody is trying to get there. अगर हर बंदा बोलेगा एजेंसी के पास जाके, एजेंसी को फ़ोन करके कि भाई मुझे काम दे दो, तो वहाँ पे लिमिटेड पोजीशंस हैं. पीपल आर नॉट सर्चिंग जॉब स्मार्टली. तुम अपना, अगर तुम कनाडा आए हो, ठीक है, अपनी स्टडी करके, तुम्हारे पास कोई ना कोई स्किल है, ठीक है, तुम क्यों लेबर जॉब्स में जा रहे हो? ठीक है, अगर कुछ नहीं मिल रहा करो यार, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. बट if you know that you can do something better, why don't you shoot for it? Because लोगों में कॉन्फिडेंस ही नहीं है. बोल रहे नई कंट्री में क्या करे, 4 जने रूममेट में हैं, चल क्या रूममेट यहाँ पे फैक्ट्री में लगा, मुझे भी लगवा दे, वो एक दूसरे को लगवा रहे हैं. तो मतलब कनाडा में जॉब्स हैं, लेबर जॉब्स कम हो रही हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि हर कोई उसमें घुस रहा है. सो इट एक्चुअली डिपेंड्स कि आप कौन सी फील्ड में जा रहे हो. सो अब जॉब्स अगर ढूंढनी है, फॉर मी पर्सनली, आई हैव डन क्वाइट अ फ्यू जॉब्स. आई गॉट फायर्ड फ्रॉम क्वाइट अ फ्यू जॉब्स. So, but like this thing has taught me so much, because क्योंकि जब मैं hire fire इतनी बार हो चुकी हूँ, I have gotten these great amazing tips and tricks. I think that's what I was talking to you about the other day.
Just reveal all your tips and tricks that are up your sleeves. Let everybody know what to expect, what not to expect, and yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So guys, अगर हमको जॉब ढूंढनी है, the first thing that we gotta do is not try and apply on Indeed. I mean, I get it. अगर तुम 100 रेज्यूमे फेंकोगे Indeed के ऊपर, तो तुम्हारा हो सकता है तुम्हें एक रेज्यूमे का जवाब आ जाए. बट यू नो व्हाट्स अ स्मार्टर एंड फास्टर थिंग टू डू? तुम Indeed पे जाओ, तुम देखो कौन से रेस्टोरेंट्स, या पहले डिसाइड कर लो कि तुमने कौन सी फील्ड में जाना है. ठीक है, लेट्स अज्यूम कि एक बंदा है, उसको बोल रहा है कि मेरे को रेस्टोरेंट्स में जाना है बिकॉज वो ईजी काम है, या मैं कर लूँगा, या दैट इज वेयर माई स्पेशलाइजेशन इज, राइट? सो यू गो ऑन Indeed, you search up places that are actually hiring. You go to Google, you search their number and you call them. And you go like, oh, I know you guys are hiring. Can I come by and give you an interview? Or can I come by and drop a resume? This way your chances of getting hired there boosts up. बिकॉज एक ऑप्शन है कि तुम Indeed पे रेज्यूमे डाल दोगे, हो सकता है वो उठाएं, हो सकता है वो ना उठाएं, हो सकता है वो महीने बाद देखें, हो सकता है वो ना ही देखें, राइट? इवन फॉर Bath and Body Works, there was this okay, so I got to know that Bath and Body Works were hiring, right?
Yeah.
So ऐसे ads आ रही थी, उसकी promotion चल रही थी and everything, and I dropped my resume on Indeed, ठीक है, because I was being lazy or whatever, and I didn't actually need that job. I was just like, ठीक है, बैठे बैठे डाल दिया, right? And later on I got to know कि Bath and Body Works का रिक्रूटमेंट इवेंट चल रहा था प्रॉपर स्कारब्रो टाउन सेंटर के अंदर, वेयर दे हैड 900 पीपल स्टैंड इन द लाइन. सो डू यू एक्चुअली थिंक कि वो 900 लोगों के बाद भी तुम्हारा रेज्यूमे कोई निकाल के देखेगा? वो 900 लोगों में से पता नहीं कितने लोग रिक्रूट होने हैं, 10, 20, 30, 40, राइट? तो Indeed तक तो बात ही नहीं पहुंची है. तो एक चीज़ वो, और दूसरा चीज़ आई फील एज इफ दिस साइट कॉल्ड Kijiji is actually very helpful because a lot of older people still use these sites, which means a lot of older employers still use this. I've gotten so many gigs through Kijiji, like even in one night. So you just search up, for example, I've done bartending, right? So I searched up bartending jobs near me. So I got these list of few restaurants, and there are employees who've dropped their phone numbers there, right? तो वो अपना phone numbers वहाँ पे drop कर call them right there and then and be like, oh, I need this job, or I have experience in this or whatever, and they will call you up. So try and get as much walk-in interviews as you can instead of like applying online and waiting for it. That's like one pro tip. And दूसरी चीज़, try getting as much as certificates as you can, right? So for example, I have security certificate. मैंने लेके रख लिया था कि ठीक है काम मिलेगा तो मिलेगा, नहीं मिलेगा तो नहीं मिलेगा, but I have that thing on my hand, right? तो कल को अगर कोई opportunity आती है या कल कोई event आता है जहाँ पे मुझे security करनी पड़ गई तो मैं कर सकती हूँ. I don't have to sit and wait 3 months to get my license, right? Same goes for bartending. मैं जब इंडिया में थी, I remember, मैंने तभी डिसाइड कर लिया था for some reason that I want to bartend. So मैंने तब से ही रिसर्च करके रखी हुई थी कि ये सर्टिफिकेट कैसे बनता है. So you just go to Service Ontario, Smart Serve Ontario, and then you this is like a $50 course. You do it and you get 80% in the test. You have 2 attempts and all done. राइट, तो अब आपके पास ये सर्टिफिकेट भी आ गया. सेम गोज फॉर आई एम इवन ट्राइंग टू गेट इनटू कार डीलरशिप एंड स्टफ, तो उसका आई थिंक 285 का कुछ ऑनलाइन सर्टिफिकेट आता है. इट्स कॉल्ड OMVIC सर्टिफिकेट. यू कैन गेट दैट. यू कैन गेट फूड हैंडलर सर्टिफिकेट, राइट? और भी बहुत सारी चीज़ें होती हैं. बट ऐसा ना हो कि कोई बंदा तुमको अपना कोर्स सिर्फ सेल करना चाह रहा है और वो तुम्हें स्कैम करना चाह रहा है तो इसलिए वो सर्टिफिकेट बेच रहा हो, तुम कुछ भी खरीदते रहोगे. एनी सर्टिफिकेट जो कि ऑन्टारियो की गवर्नमेंट ने रेगुलेट करा हुआ है, दैट सर्टिफिकेट इज legitimate and it's gonna help you a lot. So ये मेरी थोड़ी सी टिप्स थी.
How many jobs have you worked? At the moment, how many jobs are you working?
Okay, so I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but like I do security on weekends. I bartend on Fridays and Saturdays sometimes, and then I also work in Walmart. I got hired there through reference. Like I feel as if कि Walmart, Home Depot, Dollarama, ये सारे जो स्टोर्स हैं यहाँ पे रेफरेंस ऑनेस्टली बहुत ज़्यादा चलती है बिकॉज आई अप्लाइड एट वॉलमार्ट लाइक 3-4 times और मेरा को कोई रिस्पॉन्स नहीं आया था. बट आई हैड दिस फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन हु वर्क देयर, जो मेरे को बाद में पता लगा, एंड देन उनके थ्रू जब मैंने अप्लाई किया, सो आई गॉट द जॉब लाइक in 15 days. So reference and connections again is a big thing here in Canada. So even if you are more, let's just say you are more qualified than me, right? But you don't have a reference. Chances are that they will hire me because
Exactly.
somebody is referring me.
No, what I have learned and I have come to know, Canada is all about reference, whether be it job or wherever. I mean, if you have reference, they prefer you more over somebody else who's just an unknown from the internet, because
Right.
they know that the person who's already worked with them, he knows you, right? अच्छा ये बताओ मेरे को, you've been working, you've been studying, you've been managing your course, and you've had so many certificates, and you knew what you wanted to do. Apart from knowing what you want to do, how are you managing your studies? And sometimes does it get overwhelming? बहुत too much हो जाता है, या it is a good way of keeping you busy? Because I'm sure you're home away from home. So how do you manage your job, your work, and your
Okay.
studies?
So let me just correct you in one place that I don't know what I want. It's not as if I have everything figured out.
Right.
I figured it step by step. There were days when I had no job. There were days when I've done the shittiest job ever. There were days when I used to love my job and still got fired. So it was like a emotional turmoil, and it was a big ride, right? And it still is. It's not like I'm accomplished or whatever, or you know. But yeah. So is it overwhelming? Yes. Would I do anything to change it? No. So ठीक है यार, क्योंकि once you're transitioning, that's what I said, right? Once you're transitioning from being a teenager to starting to adult, as in like having real responsibilities like bills to pay, for example, cooking for yourself, cleaning for yourself, living all by yourself, and then having nobody to assist you, it is obviously very overwhelming. जब घर पे पेरेंट्स होते हैं तो पता होता है कि सिर पे डंडा है कि इतने बजे तक घर आना ही है, अगर नहीं आए तो फ़ोन आ जाएगा. यहाँ पे ऐसा होता है कि यार तुम 3 बजे तक भी घर ना जाओ, कोई नहीं पूछता है कि आर यू होम और नॉट. इज समबडी केयर्स इफ यू लाइव और डेड? नो, आई डोंट थिंक सो, राइट? तुमने खाना खाया नहीं खाया, नोबडी आस्क्स यू. नोबडी केयर्स इफ यू हैड फूड इन लाइक 3 days और नॉट. घर पे पेरेंट्स लड़ के बोलते थे, अरे यार ये खा लो, बीमार हो जाओगे, ये खा लो, ये दूध पी लो, बादाम खा लो, या वट एवर, राइट? सो initially it is very hard. Even for me, like few months to start with were so, पहले तो मेरी फैंटेसी नहीं खत्म हुई पहले 2 महीने कि अरे यार मैं तो कनाडा आ गई. फिर तीसरे महीने मेरे को रियलिटी चेक हुआ कि यार अच्छा, now I have real responsibilities, I have school, I need to get a job, I need to pay for my stuff because my savings are running out, which were not even my savings, my parents paid for it, right? So I need to do something of myself. And फिर तुम्हारा वो फेज आता है जब तुम बोलते हो यार काम पे जाने का मन नहीं है पर फिर भी जाना पड़ेगा because now you have to be responsible, right?
Now you have to start paying your bills.
या पहले ये लड़ाई होती थी कि हाँ यार कॉलेज जाए ना जाए, स्कूल जाए ना जाए, छोड़ो नहीं जाते, मन नहीं है गेड़ी मार लेते हैं. अभी ऐसा नहीं ना कि मन नहीं है तो काम पे नहीं जाना. यू विल गेट फायर्ड इन वन डे like I
Right.
did a lot of times. but you learn from your mistakes.
Right.
So धीरे धीरे वो डिसिप्लिन अपने आप बिल्ड हो जाता है. एंड आई फील एज इफ टाइम के साथ बंदा सीख जाता है. So was it overwhelming? Yeah. Is it still sometimes overwhelming? Obviously yes. I feel as if no, even if you were like 45 you would still miss your parents because यार वो पेरेंट्स हैं, राइट? तुम उनको कैसे नहीं मिस कर सकते? सो डू आई मिस दैम? ऑब्वियसली ऑल द टाइम. बट हैज़ इट गॉन बेटर? येस. डू आई एन्जॉय माई लाइफ मोर नाउ? ऑब्वियसली येस. बिकॉज अब एक मोमेंटम बैठ गया कि हाँ मुझे पता है मैंने ये काम करना है. आई एम एन्जॉइंग दिस वर्क, आई एन्जॉय माई जॉब, आई एन्जॉय माई स्कूल. एंड इज इट हार्ड टू मैनेज स्कूल एंड जॉब? वेल इट डिपेंड्स, राइट? बहुत सारे लोगों को दिक्कत होती है. एंड आई फील एज इफ बहुत सारे इंटरनेशनल स्टूडेंट्स ये करते भी हैं कि वो सिर्फ काम करते रहेंगे. वो भी फैक्ट्री में लेबर जॉब करते रहेंगे और स्कूल फिर स्क्रू अप कर देंगे अपना. आई हैव दिस फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन who was in my same school, who was in same course as me, and he failed all his semester and then college kicked him out, so he had to move to Alberta, and then now he's like out of status or whatever. So just because he was focusing too much on work.
Right.
तो एक बैलेंस बनाना बहुत ज़रूरी है बिकॉज एट द एंड ऑफ द डे यू आर हियर टू फिनिश योर स्कूल, राइट? यू आर नॉट हियर टू जस्ट डू अ पार्ट टाइम जॉब और जस्ट डू अ लेबर जॉब और जस्ट डू अ लो स्किल्ड जॉब. एंड गोल ये है कि हमें अपनी स्टडी के थ्रू कुछ ऐसा मिले जहाँ जो चीज़ हम इंजॉय करते हो और जो
Right.
चीज़ हम अपने रेस्ट ऑफ द लाइफ कर सकें, राइट? तो हाँ वो बैलेंस बनाना बहुत ज़रूरी है. पैसे से एडिक्ट नहीं होना कि हाँ यार $100 का $150 का शिफ्ट लग गया तो चिल करेंगे या छोड़ो कॉलेज का क्या है बाहर से बनवा लेंगे. यू आर नॉट लर्निंग नो स्किल आउट ऑफ दैट. सो बहुत ज़रूरी है ये चीज़ भी.
Okay, like you said, back home तो मम्मा थी डंडा करने के लिए
हाँ.
to keep you back on track, be it your food, be it your studies. यहाँ पे कौन track पे रखता है? How do you bring yourself back on track? Because the student life here, as you said, the fantasy. Many people come under the same impression कि है ना हाँ, I mean, ये life है, वो life है. But then reality check यहाँ पे आके होता है. काफ़ी बच्चे उसमें lost भी हो जाते हैं. काफ़ी अपने आप को बैलेंस रखते हैं. Is it difficult? Do you think what they say कि you lose track? And is it very difficult to bring yourself back on track? क्योंकि मम्मा तो है नहीं यहाँ पे डंडा करने.
देखो ऐसा है कि इट इज़ एक्चुअली वेरी ट्रू. लाइक हम न्यूज़ भी देखते हैं और हम कितनी सारी चीज़ देखते हैं स्पेशली लाइक थिंग्स गोइंग इन लाइक ब्रैम्पटन एरिया एंड स्टफ जहाँ पे बहुत सारे इंडियन स्टूडेंट्स हैं. बहुत सारे लोग क्योंकि यहाँ पे नशा ऐसे खुला मिलता है, राइट? नोबडी केयर्स एंड ऑल दीज things that are legal
Weed is
here.
legal.
Yeah, all these
Yeah.
things that are legal here were not legal back there. तो जब नए नए स्कूल से निकल के आते हैं बच्चे तो उनको लगता है यार कितना क्रेजी है, ये करेंगे, फन करेंगे, पार्टी करेंगे, नशे करेंगे. और उस चक्कर में बहुत सारे लोग इवन लूज देयर लाइफ, राइट? हम लोग कितने सारे लोग देखते हैं, न्यूज़ में भी देखते हैं कितने बच्चे 21 साल के 22 साल के बच्चे दे डाई, दे लूज देयर पेरेंट्स लूज देयर चाइल्ड. और वो उनको इतनी बड़ी कंट्री में भेज रहे थे इतना पैसा लगा के just so to know कि 2 साल के बाद their child is not anymore, right? Why? Because of these stupid drugs and shit. तो हाँ खुद को ट्रैक पे रखना बहुत ज़रूरी है और खुद को ट्रैक पे रखना बहुत मुश्किल भी है. बट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे यू नीड टू कीप अ चेक ऑन तुम यहाँ पे आई क्यों. बिकॉज फॉर मी पर्सनली देयर आर अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स व्हेन आई लूज होप एंड आई एम लाइक यार क्या ही चल रहा है ज़िंदगी में, लाइक अब कभी कभी दोस्त को भी ऐसे फ़ोन कर देते. आई थिंक आई फील फ्रेंड्स आर लाइक अ रियली
Exactly. Yeah.
गुड पार्ट ऑफ योर लाइफ या तुमको बहुत अच्छा गाइड कर सकते. तो अपनी कंपनी तुम्हें चेक रखनी है कि तुम कैसे लोगों के साथ बैठ रहे हो,
True.
ठीक है?
Very true.
वो ऐसा बेसिक्स आइडियम सुना है ना हमने, इफ समबडी वांट्स टू नो अबाउट यू शो योर 4 or 5 फ्रेंड्स. तो तुम्हारे सारे कैरेक्टर के बारे में वो 5 दोस्त तुम्हारे बता सकते हैं. क्यों? बिकॉज वी सिट विद द सिमिलर पीपल एज वी आर, राइट? तो दोस्तों को जब हम फ़ोन करते हैं कि यार क्या चल रहा है ज़िंदगी में या कुछ भी है, तो ये बहुत ज़रूरी है जानना कि तुम यहाँ पे आई क्यों, ठीक है? Friends can help you get out of the situation. A lot of times for me it's either my 1 or 2 friends which are like very close to me, or it's my family because I know that I have my two younger siblings there and I need to take care of them because I'm like the oldest one, right? तो हर बच्चे को अपने आप को ये देखना पड़ेगा कि यार अगर तुम आए हो तो माँ बाप ने इतना पैसा लगाया है, क्यों लगाया है, राइट? तुम यहाँ पे अगर फुकरबाजी करने आए हो या तुम ड्रग्स करने आए हो या तुम्हें 2 साल 3 साल के लिए कूल बनना है तो तुम बनो, पर अपनी लाइफ डिस्ट्रॉय कर रहे हो और क्या कर रहे हो? वो चीज़ है.
Like I already said, then you know what you want. So I was not wrong when I said that, and you know why you're here. You know you have your goals set. So do whatever you want to do. Enjoy, have fun, but never lose the sight of your goals.
Right, exactly.
ठीक है. Anything else you want to tell us? Any more tips? Anything else that there's a lot of people out there who want to come. जिनको अपने बच्चों को भेजना है, बट दे आर स्कैर्ड कि है ना बाहर देश जाके बच्चे शायद बिगड़ जाएंगे, या देयर आर लॉट ऑफ चिल्ड्रन हु वांट टू कम बट दे आर नॉट श्योर कि आके करना क्या है. शुड दे डू द ग्रेजुएशन बैक होम, शुड दे कम स्ट्रेट लाइक यू आफ्टर हाई स्कूल? क्या बेनिफिट्स हैं?
देखो यार, ये डिपेंड करता है पर्सन टू पर्सन, ठीक है? जो बंदा ग्रेजुएशन के बाद आता है उसके अपने प्रोज हैं, जो बंदा हाई स्कूल के बाद आता है उसके अपने प्रोज हैं. फॉर एग्जांपल, अब जैसे आई हैव दिस मैनेजर ऑफ माइन, वो सीधा पीआर है, ठीक है? वो बंदा ग्रेजुएशन की, उसने पढ़ाई करी अपनी, वो पीआर का स्टैंप लगा, अब यहाँ पे आके स्किल्ड काम कर रहा है प्रॉपर, तो वो भी खुश है. अब बहुत सारे लोग क्या बोलते हैं कि हाँ, जब हम जैसे बच्चा आ जाते हैं जो 18 19 20 के हैं, हमको एक एज मिल जाता है एज का कि हमें एक्सपोजर जल्दी मिल जाता है, तो हमारे पास जो टाइम लाइन होती है वो थोड़ी सी ज़्यादा होती है. बट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे फिर वो मैच्योरिटी लेवल भी हर बंदे में उतना नहीं होता, राइट? तो इट एक्चुअली वेरीज फ्रॉम पर्सन टू पर्सन कि तुम हाई स्कूल के बाद वो चीज़ हैंडल कर सकते हो, क्या तुम इतना इमोशनल, क्योंकि फैंटेसी है ये. जब तुम इधर आ जाओगे तो तुम्हें पता लगेगा कि भाई तुमने खाना भी खुद बनाना है, तुमने पढ़ाई भी खुद करनी है, तुमने काम भी खुद करना है, तुम बीमार हो जाओगे तुम्हें कोई पूछेगा भी नहीं, ठीक है? रात को तुम घर आ रहे हो नहीं आ रहे हो तुम्हें किसी को कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता है. और फिर अगर तुम्हारा रेंट एक दिन लेट हो गया तो लैंडलॉर्ड सामान उठाएगा, बोलेगा चलो निकलो, कोई यहाँ पे वो नहीं है कि मम्मी पापा का घर है. तो वो सब चीज़ें तुम हैंडल कर सकते हो क्या 12th के बाद? बहुत सारे लोग कर लेते हैं पर बहुत सारे नहीं भी कर पाते.
right.
मेरे खुद के नोन में लोग हैं जो यहाँ पे रहे हैं 2 साल 3 साल 4 साल और बोलें कि नहीं यार कुछ नहीं है, ये हम वापस जा रहे हैं. कितने लोग वापस भी जाते हैं, कितने लोग बोलते हैं कि कनाडा ने हमें सब कुछ दिया है. तो ये बहुत ही पर्सपेक्टिव वाली चीज़ है, हर बंदे से वेरी करती है ये. Yeah, I have a few questions for you too. So like you were all settled, right? And you have a family somewhere and you have a child. What made you decide to like leave them and like come all the way here? Which I obviously think is like a big decision, but why?
Right. So I would say that it was like a dream that was left halfway somewhere when I was your age. I always wanted to pursue my higher studies and go abroad and study. But it somehow got delayed. I got job. Then I was like, ठीक है, अभी after 2-3 years I will do it. वो delay होता it got stuck somewhere. Now down the line I was like, I'm stuck in my career somewhere and I want to take it a notch up. मतलब अभी कुछ करके, and आप किसी भी career में हो, आपको हमेशा you have to make sure that you're upgrading yourself. You're up to date की what's happening right now. तो I wanted to do that, and Canada looked like a good place to come to, and
welcoming place.
Welcoming place.
Yeah.
You know, we've heard a lot of my known people back home have been coming to Canada for their further studies. So I was like, ठीक है चलो. I mean, you know, and I have been managing projects for a very long time right now. So I was like, let's do the course and then do the certification, and कुछ exposure, international exposure मिल जाएगा, which is very good for your career आगे जाके. And I was at that stage in my life where my kids are a bit independent and it's not easy to leave your family back home.
11-year-old is not an independent child. What are you even talking about?
No, I mean, look at yourself, 18-year-old in Canada. It's just... So
I'm prodigy, guys.
So the generation now is, every generation is getting more independent. They know what they want, and they're not dependent. So this is the point where I could leave them and I could come, and I know they'll be okay. I mean, emotionally you're never okay, and
Right.
it's been a roller coaster ride for last 2 months. But ठीक है, I mean, you know, you have to step out of your comfort zone, and मेरे को लगता है कनाडा आके मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा अपने comfort zone से बाहर step कर लिया. Because जहाँ आप रहते हो, as you said, you know, you live with your parents, and I used to live with my parents, and then you are there in that comfort zone.
Right.
तो जब आप यहाँ आते हो, although cooking, cleaning, all that has been done by myself, but not for myself.
Right.
I had done it for my family,
Which was out of love.
which was out of love, which was out of responsibilities, which was out of obligation.
Right.
यहाँ पे आके to manage everything together, it's like it was even a setback for me. I'm like, oh, okay.
I feel as if यहाँ पे आके बंदा एक तरह का sense of self love भी और सीख लेता है
Yeah, I mean,
क्योंकि
women already multitask, but यहाँ पे आके हमारे 3-4 हाथ और निकल आते हैं. Because then you multitask everything. You're studying, you're working, you're managing your bills, you're managing time back home. Because time difference इतना है, हमें back home भी बात करनी है, and it's really to keep that balance. And then if you're not speaking 2 days, it takes an emotional turmoil on you.
right.
It does, क्योंकि I have seen मेरी खुद की क्लास में there are days when I see हम बैठे हैं बात कर रहे हैं, there are girls, I'm not seeing this in boys, I'm sure there are also boys who feel that, but then girls are more they're more expressive,
vocal
yeah, they're
about
more
it,
vocal
yeah.
about it. We are sitting, we are talking, and suddenly somebody's रोए जा रही है, उसके आंसू बंद नहीं हो रहे. क्यों? She's missing back home. She's missing the love and the warmth जो उसको family से
Right.
मिलती
I
है.
feel
Because
as if this is very
that's one
common.
aspect जो यहाँ पे है ना, as I said, the young girls and boys. It's not only young girls and boys. Even if you're 20-year-old or you're 30-year-old or you're 18-year-old, you miss your family because यहाँ पे वो उतना you're doing everything by yourself. You get bogged down by it.
I feel as if it's not even about like doing things by yourself. It's just that you miss the way you said, you miss the warmth and you miss the company.
Connection, yeah.
Yeah, you miss the connection and you're like, okay, earlier I was cleaning, but not just for me, but like my family. And earlier I was cooking or I was like in the kitchen, but not just for myself, but like the kids that I used to feed to, right? Or my mom or my husband or whatever.
Right.
And now it's like lonely, you know? Like, ठीक है यार, खाना बनाया भी तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है, नहीं बनाया तो भी क्या फर्क
Exactly
पड़ता
my
है.
point. I mean, back home I wouldn't miss a single meal because अगर मैंने meal miss किया मतलब मेरी family ने meal miss किया because I haven't
Right.
cooked. Here, if I don't cook, doesn't matter. मैंने meal skip कर दिया, it's okay. कोई ना पूछने वाला है, ना कोई देखने वाला है, ना कोई आके खिलाने वाला है. कर दिया. So, and then it's been very difficult to keep the health track. क्योंकि यहाँ पे
Healthcare
trust me, not only healthcare, आप यहाँ पे आते हो, your definitely cooking takes a toll. You start eating all kind of junk. When I enter a supermarket, I know how much I have to control myself not to pick up things from the freezer. Because I'm the kind of a person who cooks fresh and eats. मेरे घर पे कभी freezer की चीज़ें नहीं आती हैं. And यहाँ पे your supermarkets are filled with that because you don't have time and you end up buying all the frozen stuff. Which is not good. And then if you're eating so much of that or you're eating from the fast food joints, your health goes for a toll. So I don't know how everybody manages, but that is one aspect which I feel कि है ना,
This
it's
is
very
like
difficult.
a big thing. यहाँ पे processed food का इतना trend है कि तुम aisles अगर Walmart में भी या किसी भी grocery store में भी जाके aisles
It's
देखोगे,
easily available. It's on your face. It's right there for you to buy.
and everybody's buying it because
Everybody's
that's what
buying it.
people do here,
Yeah.
right? McDonald's and Tim Hortons, these are like the crazy famous food chains, which is obviously not very healthy options. But like if you want to buy a Caesar salad, it's gonna be like $18, and if you want to buy a McDonald's burger, it's like $2.50.
So exactly,
know?
you choose the other one because it's
Convenient.
You are paying your bill, so you were like, अच्छा $2 का लूँ या $18 का लूँ.
बात
So
वो भी नहीं है.
ultimately
You're
go
getting
for
the tasty version, which is obviously bad for your health, but you're getting the tasty version because who would eat a salad over a burger, right? And it is more accessible to you and it is cheaper to you, so you feel as if you're saving money. But in the long run, you are just like harming yourself, or you're gonna be in bad health later. तो वो पैसा health पे लग के निकल जाएगा, right? और even like in grocery stores, as I was saying, कि सब कुछ इतना readily available है, सब कुछ, you are getting these cornflakes and shit, and then like all these granola bars which are apparently healthy, but obviously they're not healthy.
They're not.
These crisps and whatnot, right? And it's just a trend for people to buy it. Like सब्जी की एक लाइन दिखेगी और लाइक प्रोसेस फूड की 10 लाइनें दिख जाएंगी, फ्रीज़र के अलग से तुम्हें सेक्शंस दिख जाएंगे. तो फूड इज़ वन प्रॉब्लम दैट आई फील कि बहुत बड़ा इशू है. बट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे इट इज़ ऑल्सो अबाउट टाइम मैनेजमेंट. तुम्हारे पास टाइम ही नहीं है यहाँ पर, तो तुम खाना भी कितना ही बना लोगे अपने लिए.
I know, wait. So this was a huge change for me. This was like, okay, what am I doing? So if a person like me had a challenge with the food, I'm sure youngsters who had never cooked by themselves.
I can't cook, bro. I still can't.
Who cannot cook by themselves. It's you know, I mean, take care of your health as
Air
well.
fryer has been my lifesaver, by the way.
And the next is, I don't know.
Okay, coming to more practical part, let's just not talk about a lot of emotions, but coming to the practical part, how are you managing your studies and your work, considering you're not in that age where people usually, you know, finish school or whatever. You're not like in your early 20s where you're like, I'm still deciding my career. You probably were working in a solid place, right? And then you decided to not do that anymore and come here and start school. How did that transition go?
Like you said earlier, you know, the agent is just trying to sell you some course.
Huh.
And at that age, you wanted to decide what course you're picking up. Same was for me, the same process. मेरे लिए भी same process गया था. The agent was trying to just sell. I'm like, नहीं, मेरे को पता है मेरे को क्या करना है. I'm choosing this. But the problem was the academic gap.
Right, exactly.
So that is a huge hindering factor for the people who want to continue their studies after a very long time. Not all colleges are open to a huge academic gap. 3-4 साल का academic gap फिर भी चल जाता है. But if you have a academic gap of more than 5 years, you have very few selected colleges that are going to take you, and you will have very few courses that you can enroll into.
Okay, just for the context, how long was your gap and what college did you take?
My gap was, okay, I had like a 15-year of gap.
15 years of gap.
15 years of
Wow.
gap. So I applied to a couple of colleges. It got rejected because they were not accepting, even if they were accepting more than 5 years of gap, they were not accepting 15 years of gap.
Right.
Although I had all the documents ki hai na, I've been working and I have experience in this course, and hence I'm not just taking for the sake of taking the course and coming to the Canada. I'm genuinely taking the course and I'm
Because
interested.
I'm interested in it,
Yeah,
yeah.
because I have my resume showed all the jobs I have worked into, and I've been managing projects for a while. But still, that was not enough. They did not accept me. Humber was a college that accepted, and it's a nice college. They are very, I think it also depends upon the college you choose.
Right.
Sometimes. So this is a postgraduate certificate, and they are making sure that they are making the children ready, because, like, you know, I'm not in the postgraduate certificate, they don't expect the teenage mentality that somebody's telling you what to do, or they are not what do you say, dealing with the undergraduates. They're dealing with postgraduates. So the line of course is very difficult. They give you projects, assignments, and it's a very fast track one.
Did you take what? Project management?
I've taken project
Okay.
management. So if you're coming for a postgraduate certificate, be ready in the mindset that it's a postgraduate certificate. It's not an undergraduate certificate. It's not a diploma certificate. You will be asked to work, because colleges की responsibility है यहाँ पे that if you've come on a study visa and if you're coming on a postgraduate study visa, they have to make you career industry ready. So the courses are according to that. So it's a lot of work. It's not an easy course. Again, I said, I mean, you know, it's not easy to juggle the study life and the work life and managing all the chores, but I have chosen it. I
Right.
cannot complain about it. So yeah.
And I also feel as if कि यहाँ पे ऐसा नहीं कि तुमको spoon feed करते हैं professors. They just tell you,
No, they
this
don't.
is XYZ shit that you need to get done.
So the academic learning back home, if you're a student from India, the academic learning back home and यहाँ पे बहुत difference है. Because India में आपको दिया जाता है, आपको वो पढ़ना
समझाते
होता है,
हैं.
और वो आपको एग्जाम में वही आएगा, उसी कॉन्टेक्स्ट में से आएगा. बट हियर इज कम्प्लीटली डिफरेंट. यू गिवन टॉपिक, यू रिसर्च अबाउट इट, अपना दिमाग लगाओ, एंड
खुद ही टॉपिक मिलेगा, खुद ही रिसर्च करना है, खुद ही बनाना है. सिर्फ प्रॉफ जो है वो ग्रेड करेगा असाइनमेंट, एंड इवन इफ यू गेट अ डी और एन एफ, योर प्रॉफ इज नॉट अकाउंटेबल.
yeah, I mean, it's on you. Ultimately, it's
Yeah.
on you. So yeah, I mean, you know, if you're here on a study visa, a lot of responsibilities on you कि attendance भी, जैसे आपने बोला, you know,
Attendance चाहिए, हाँ.
attendance is a must. अगर आपका कोर्स ऑनलाइन नहीं है, अगर आपका कोर्स ऑन कैंपस है, तो attendance is a must. फिर then you have to make sure that you're getting good grades, because अल्टीमेटली पास तो होना है. 4-5 हज़ार और लगा के, यू डोंट वांट टू एक्सटेंड इट कि अच्छा इसमें फेल हो गए तो,
Supply आ गई, हाँ.
बिकॉज फेल हो गए तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि डन. आई मीन, यू अगेन हैव टू रीअपियर फॉर दैट एग्जाम,
Plus
एंड देन there
pay
are
extra.
charges to
Exactly.
it. I mean, you've already paid $18,000-$19,000 for your course, and then यू आर नॉट पेइंग अटेंशन, आपने अटेंडेंस की वजह से उसको मिस कर दिया, या आपने ग्रेड्स नहीं अच्छे ला पाए, एंड यू आर बिजी डूइंग समथिंग एल्स, वेदर यू आर वर्किंग, वेदर यू आर पार्टिंग, वट एवर इट वॉज योर रीजन, एंड यू हैव नॉट गॉटन द ग्रेड्स, another 4-5 thousand, right? To just give one subject. So yeah, I mean,
And 4 months worth of your time.
exactly. So yeah, I mean, it's not easy, but then you have to be on track. You have to keep self-checking yourself.
Great.
Thank you so much, Pranika. We had a lot of experiences today, and I hope you have picked up some tips that are helpful for you, helpful for somebody else who's trying to come to Canada, or the children who are already in Canada. Thank you so much.